Good evening, it's Monday the 6th of October and here's what's making news around the world on World News Tonight. Defence Cooperation Australia and Papua New Guinea formalised landmark military alliance to strengthen regional security. Peace negotiations. Israel and Hamas delegations convene in Sharm el-Sheikh for critical peace talks. Art record. World's longest art walk on display surpasses Empire State Building in height and scale.
From Colombo, this is World News Tonight with Akwil Qureshi.
Good evening once again. Australia and Papua New Guinea have signed a historic defence treaty, marking Australia's first new alliance in over 70 years. The Puk Treaty commits both nations to mutual defence, allowing up to 10,000 Papua New Guineans to serve in the Australian Defence Force. This agreement strengthens regional security ties.
Australia and Papua New Guinea have formalised a landmark defence agreement known as the Puk Treaty, representing a significant step in regional security cooperation. The treaty allows for closer military collaboration, joint exercises and personal integration between the two nations, aiming to bolster stability in the Pacific region. Under the terms of the agreement, up to 10,000 Papua New Guineans may serve in the Australian Defence Force, enhancing interoperability and providing training opportunities for PNG personnel. Both countries have emphasized that this alliance is designed to respond to external threats, natural disasters and humanitarian crises, strengthening collective defence capabilities. The treaty also carries geopolitical implications, signaling Australia's commitment to reinforcing security partnerships in the Pacific amid growing influence from China. Analysts suggest that the alliance could serve as a deterrent against regional tensions while fostering closer diplomatic, economic and strategic cooperation between Canberra and Port Moresby in the years ahead.
At least 47 people have died in Nepal due to heavy rains triggering landslides and flash floods since Friday. The eastern EM district was hardest hit with 35 fatalities. Rescue operations are ongoing and authorities have declared today and tomorrow as public holidays to aid efforts.
Heavy rainfall in Nepal has caused catastrophic landslides and flash floods, claiming the lives of at least 47 people since Friday. The Ilam district in the east suffered the most, with 35 confirmed deaths, while other regions experienced destroyed roads, damaged bridges and flooded homes. Authorities are actively conducting search and rescue missions, deploying teams to locate missing individuals and evacuate people from dangerous areas. Numerous families remain trapped and local hospitals are overwhelmed with injured survivors. Lightning strikes accompanying the storms have added to the death toll, complicating emergency efforts across affected regions. To support recovery operations, the government has declared today and tomorrow public holidays. Temporary shelters have been established and international aid organizations are closely monitoring the situation.
Sanai Takahashi has been elected leader of Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party, positioning her to become the nation's first female prime minister. A hardline conservative and former economic security minister, Takahashi's leadership marks a significant shift in Japan's political landscape. To get more updates on the upcoming election, we now connect with other Derana World News special correspondent Rashitha Chandradasa, who is joining us from Tokyo in Japan. Rashitha, what do you have to tell us?
The ruling LDP has a new leader, a female leader for the first time in their history after Sanai Takahashi became the first woman candidate to win their leadership election. The Sanai Takahashi's victory was not really expected. It was a stunning victory considering she became only third in the first ballot among the parliamentarian votes. But what drove her victory was the party membership. The party members throughout the Japan overwhelmingly supported her, and that led her to a stunning victory over the other favorite candidate, Shinjiro Koizumi. So Sanai Takahashi is the whole day today she was planning a party leadership group, and she was busy talking to her fellow members as well as the coalition member Komeito. Even though LDP is the ruling party, it's a very tricky situation for them in the parliament because they are a minority. the oppositions have more members than them, even including their partners Komeito. And also she belonged to the right wing of the LDP, and some people, including their ruling coalition, the Komeito, would not like that. But we never know her stance unless she would get elected and she elect her cabinet. And the market overall welcomed the victory because she is renowned to be a proponent of market reforms as well as a widely famous capitalist. We still don't know when the next parliamentary session will be announced. But in that session, Sanae Takauchi would most probably become the first ever woman prime minister to be elected in Japan. Over to you.
Thank you. That was Other Than a World News special correspondent Rashita Chandadasa from Tokyo in Japan. South Korea's Industrial Minister Kim Jong-hwan expressed optimism regarding ongoing trade talks with the United States. Highlighting progress in negotiations, the discussion aims to address tariff concerns and enhance economic cooperation between the two nations. Both sides are working towards a mutual beneficial agreement.
South Korea's Industry Minister Kim Jong-hwan told reporters at Incheon International Airport on Monday, after returning from New York over the weekend, that a considerable level of understanding was reached during his meeting with U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick.
Regarding the proposal that was presented, I can say that we are narrowing our differences, particularly on matters related to the foreign exchange market. In that regard, we believe there has been a considerable level of understanding reached on the sensitivity of Korea's foreign exchange market.
In late July, Seoul and Washington agreed to reduce tariffs on South Korean imports from 25% to 15%, while South Korea committed to a $350 billion investment package. However, differences over the details of investment methods and profit sharing have so far delayed the signing of a formal memorandum of understanding. South Korea is prioritizing the stability of its foreign exchange market, proposing a currency swap as a key condition to mitigate potential economic risks from the investment deal.
As this issue is being discussed as part of the overall package, differences appear to be narrowing. With some consensus reached on the general framework, we expect to meet again soon.
Kim also clarified that no discussions took place regarding U.S. President Donald Trump's comments that South Korea's investment should be made upfront. While specific investment plans remain under discussion, Trade Minister Kim expressed confidence in continued progress, anticipating further talks to happen before Trump's visit to Gyeongju for the APEC Economic Leaders meeting on October 29th.
Let's take a short commercial break. More world news right after this. Welcome back. Israel and Hamas delegations have convened in Sharm el-Sheikh for peace talks facilitated by the US and Qatar. The discussions aim to implement President Trump's 20-point plan focusing on ceasefire, hostage release and phase Israel withdrawal. While Hamas has agreed to parts of the plan, key issues remain unresolved.
Hours before Israel, Hamas and the US sit down for negotiations to end the nearly 2-year war in Gaza, Israeli forces launching a new wave of airstrikes. Explosions across the Gaza Strip fill the sky with smoke. This man carrying his lifeless son out of the rubble. It comes as indirect talks get underway in Egypt tomorrow. President Trump voicing optimism about the chances for a deal, but warns Hamas will face complete obliteration if it refuses to give up control of Gaza.
It's a great deal for Israel. It's a great deal for the entire Arab world, Muslim world, and world. So we're very happy about it.
In the US brokered peace proposal, Hamas agreeing it would hand over the administration of the Gaza Strip to a Palestinian body with support from Arab nations. But sticking points still remain.
There are a lot of opportunities here for whoever wants to sabotage it to do so, and that includes Hamas, by the way, or elements linked to Hamas.
Overnight, families of the hostages rallying in Tel Aviv as Netanyahu says he believes hostages could be released in the coming days.
When will I see my brothers again? We are suspended between hope and dread. We have lived through Hamas lies before. We cannot let another deal collapse.
President Emmanuel Macron unveiled a new cabinet led by Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu yesterday, retaining many ministers and naming Bruno Le Maire to defence. Immediately after France's Prime Minister has resigned less than a day after his cabinet was unveiled, the minority administrations face strong parliamentary oppositions and the threat of no confidence motion amid widespread protests and political deadlock nationwide today.
President Emmanuel Macron announced a reshuffled French cabinet under Prime Minister Sébastien Lecornu. While many existing ministers retained their positions, Bruno Le Maire was appointed to the crucial defence portfolio. The announcement aims to stabilise governance amid rising political tensions and growing public discontent across France. Despite the cabinet announcement, the administration remains a minority in parliament, facing strong opposition from rival parties. Lawmakers have threatened a no-confidence vote, challenging the government's ability to pass key legislation. Analysts say this precarious balance could hinder efforts to address pressing economic and social issues in the coming months. Public unrest continues nationwide, with protests over recent policies and political reforms escalating in major cities. Citizens are demanding greater transparency and accountability from the government. Macron's cabinet reshuffle is seen as an attempt to respond to these pressures, but it remains to be seen whether it will quell dissent or further inflame tensions.
Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Kobakiji has pledged a firm response to opposition protests, accusing demonstrators of attempting to overthrow the government. He also criticised the European Union for alleged interference in Georgia's internal affairs, leading to heightened tensions between Tbilisi and Brussels.
Tense scenes here on the streets of Tbilisi as a group of anti-government protesters tried to storm the presidential palace and police used water cannons to repel them. Earlier, tens of thousands marched through the city in what organisers said was a show of defiance against the governing Georgian Dream Party. Critics of the party accuse it of being authoritarian and pro-Russian.
We fight for our rights, for independence. We want to be our country a member of the European Union. So we don't want to be Russia. We don't want to enter in Russia, to return in Soviet Republic. So we fight for our rights, for independence, for justice and for human rights.
That's expression of deep crisis which is absolutely formed by our pro-Russian and authoritarian government, and that's what's happening now.
The demonstration took place on the same day as local elections, with Georgian Dream stating it had claimed victory in every municipality across the country. It comes after a clampdown on activists and political opposition in recent months, with many of the leaders of the pro-Western opposition now in prison. The country's Prime Minister accused the protests organisers of radicalism.
We warned these individuals that the strictest measures would be taken, and those measures are being implemented. Any attempt at violence will be stopped, and strict measures will continue to be enforced in the days ahead. What we saw at the presidential palace constitutes a criminal offense, and every person involved in this violent act will be held responsible.
Georgia's pro-Western opposition has been staging demonstrations since October last year, when Georgian Dream claimed victory in a parliamentary election that the opposition says was stolen. The government has frozen discussions on joining the EU, bringing a long-standing national goal to a halt.
Syria held an indirect vote yesterday to choose two-thirds of a new 210-seat parliament via electoral colleges, with interim president appointing the remaining one-third. Critics say the process lacks transparency, risks concentrating power and excludes some contested regions, raising questions about legitimacy.
Syria held a vote on Sunday for its first post-Assad parliament, a milestone in the country's transition. But instead of a popular vote, members of an electoral college voted for two-thirds of lawmakers, while President Ahmed al-Shara was to appoint the others. It's a major test of inclusivity under Shara, who came to power after his rebel offensive toppled Bashar al-Assad's regime in December. He's trying to consolidate his hold over a nation fractured by a 14-year war and bouts of sectarian violence that fueled distrust of him among minorities. In Damascus, where there have been no election posters or billboards, Sana al-Ali feared nothing would change. I have no hope for anything, she says. I don't feel anything new will happen to move us forward so that the coming days will be better than the past. A committee appointed by Shara'a, a former al-Qaeda fighter, approved 1,570 candidates who showcased their platforms in seminars and debates in the previous days. 6,000 electors cast ballots at regional electoral colleges. Authorities say they resorted to this rather than universal suffrage due to a lack of reliable population data and following the displacement of millions of Syrians by the war. They postponed the vote in 3 provinces held by minority groups, leaving 19 seats in parliament empty. Critics, especially from Syria's minorities, slammed the vote as unrepresentative and too centrally managed. Hussam Nasreddin, a Syrian Druze in Derana outside Damascus, said the People's Assembly should be voted for by the people, for the people. This is more like an appointment, he said.
Time for a short commercial break. We'll be right back with more world news. Welcome back. At the Minnesota Marine Art Museum, an extraordinary masterpiece is captivating visitors. The Grand Panorama, a whaling voyage round the world. Spanning 1,275 feet, this massive moving painting vividly captures life at sea and stands taller than the Empire State Building, redefining artistic scale and storytelling.
A painting depicting life at sea is just as expansive as an ocean. It also has a long title to go with it: The Grand Panorama of a Whaling Voyage Round the World. Currently on display at the Minnesota Marine Art Museum, the 1,300-foot moving image is taller than the Empire State Building. It was created by 2 artists in 1848 to depict the journey of a whaling trip out of Massachusetts.
It combines a slice of history, sort of the spectacle of the time period, as well as a historic piece of work.
Every 2 weeks or so, the museum staff rotates the painting another 40 feet, giving visitors another view of the incredible voyage. It's said to be the longest painting in North America and will give viewers a different perspective of life at sea every time they come to see it. The museum will display it until March 2026.
Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen is turning game day into a mission of hope. Partnering with Oishi Children's Hospital and a new era cap, Allen lets young patients design the hats he wears before each home game. The custom caps are later auctioned, with proceeds supporting children's health and care. Take a look.
I'm Carson. I'm Morgan.
Mackenzie. For these kids at Oishi Children's Hospital in Buffalo,
I'm Nico. I'm 5 years old.
A chance to get in the game. All 9 of them here to design hats for their hero, Bills quarterback Josh Allen. At every home game this season, Allen is wearing a new era cap with each of the kids' designs when he gets his head in the game during his tunnel walk. And then they're being auctioned to benefit the Patricia Allen Fund, Josh's charity that benefits critical care teams at the hospital. 12-year-old Charlie Ressler has been battling cancer since last year. And throughout his treatments, his love of the Bills kept him going. And a dream come true when his hat was worn by his favorite player.
I felt pretty honored, and I think it was super cool.
For Mom Heather and grandmother Tony, it meant the world.
We were just so thankful to have that opportunity for Charlie.
15-year-old Mackenzie Lindsay designed her hat with sunflowers and a ribbon for her battle against sickle cell anemia.
It doesn't feel real, honestly. Like, I didn't expect it would raise so much money, and I'm glad it did because it's going for a good cause. And I'm just glad I'm able to be a part of that.
Her mom, Shakia, beaming with pride.
It's amazing because she goes through so much, but she does it with so much grace. So to see her get recognized, it's surreal.
Mackenzie getting a special shout out from Allen when he thanked the kids for their artistry.
That is awesome. I wish I could draw like that.
To wear these hats that are designed by these children who, are going under some of the hardest situations that you can ever imagine. It's a pretty cool feeling.
A little extra love for these fans and their time to shine alongside their favorite team.
Go Bills!
Go Bills!
With that, we come to the end of today's edition of World News Tonight. With the hopes of seeing you again, I'm Akwil Qureshi, and we'll leave you tonight with the visuals of Fire Dragon Dance lighting up Hong Kong streets. Also, don't forget to send in your feedback through our email address on feedback.8024english@derana.lk or via WhatsApp line at 076 805 7933. Thank you for watching. Good night.